Can you hear me? My voice is a little hoarse tonight. Yes? Thank you. Some years ago, our congregation went on a congregational retreat to Israel, and we did many things. We went all throughout the country, but maybe the activity that I enjoyed the most, and one of them I found the most moving, was when we went and planted a tree with JNF. And we went to we were driven by bus to a small place in the middle of nowhere, and we were told to put Google pins in our Google Maps so that one day we'd be able to come back and find our trees. And it was part of it was a good idea, right? Good idea. Yeah. I wonder if it's still there somewhere. I'm not sure, but it was part of our package that these trees were donated from the funds that we contributed towards the trip, and so each one of us had a tree. And we came and we all planted and we made a big row of 20 plus trees. And I just remember there was such a beautiful feeling to it, because it was really, you were giving to Israel, to the land of Israel, but it even felt more like you were giving something to the world. And there was such a wonderful, moving feeling to do it. So it was just knowing you were planting this little tree, and you probably never see it again unless you really, when searching for that Google pinpoint, just let it go, and some good we did in the universe. So our parsha this week is the parsha of the construction of the tabernacle. And it begins with the commandment where God says, "Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts from me, from every person whose heart is so moved." And so these gifts are called truma, and they're a specific kind of gift. And then the Torah says all the different kinds of materials they were going to use to build a tabernacle. What was important is that the people had to be freely moved to give these gifts, had to come from their very hearts. And so, they talk about these different kinds of gifts. There are 3 different kinds of truma our tradition talks about. But one thing that links all these different kinds of truma together, that when they were given, that to be given with that free giving, that open heart. But then when you received them, people had to give it over and completely let go of any attachment to the gift. And how many times we give something over, but we still feel a little bit of attachment. Either we're going to get something back from it, or there's a little piece of us that stays attached. But for the truma, and this is why it says in the verse, this is a little rabbinic wordplay, but the actual verse says, "Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts from me." And then it says, "Take my gifts." Because then once you've given over the gifts, they become God's gifts. They're no longer your gift. They become something that belong fully to God. And so this was the type of giving, and really the only type of giving that could build the house of God. In the end, did God care about the gold? Did God care about the silver and the planks of cedar and acacia wood and all the other things? What God was interested in was that spirit that was brought into it, and what was experienced by all the people who gave, that sense of being moved, of bringing a blessing into the world. In the end, this is what it means to build a sanctuary. We don't have a temple in that sense. We have our temples here, our synagogues. But as Jews, this is what we're still trying to do. We're trying to build temples in our world, coming together, all of us, binding together our free giving hearts, and planting little trees and hoping that they'll grow to something big and beautiful in the world that will bring blessing to other people. And that each one of those little gestures that we give is so moving to us, but it also creates an opening for that to come into the world. When we join that all together, then it really creates a tabernacle, a mishkan. Shabbat shalom.